In this video, I'm going to be talking to you about microphone pickup patterns. And there's 4 that I'm going to be focusing in on today. There's omnidirectional, cardioid, hypercardioid, and figure 8. Now, as we can see here, this is a microphone right in the center. And this is the side that we would normally talk into. And so that is 0 degrees of angle. And so we can see that over here is 90 degrees, and all the way on the back side is 180, and then over on this side, minus 90 is 270. And so what this is this is a graph representing 0 dB up here, negative 25 dB here. So this white line represents our microphone pickup pattern. And so the closer that this white line is to this microphone, then that means that there's not going to be as good of pickup in that area. So this is an omnidirectional microphone pickup area. So we can see that this is even across all areas. So this is our microphone right here in the center. So with an omnidirectional microphone, it doesn't matter what side of the mic you speak on, as it's always going to pick up everything around it. Now, this is why we use an omnidirectional microphone for when we're tuning systems, or a RTA mic. You can also use an omnidirectional microphone for capturing the sound of a room, just placing it right in the middle of the room, and you can actually capture the entire sound of that room. So this is cool if you're recording a group of vocals of a lot of people that you're wanting to have everyone even sounding. You can just place that microphone right in the middle of the room, have everyone facing in towards the microphone in an even circle, and they can sing into it. And actually, a lot of famous old recordings were recorded this way. If you look at a lot of, say, Johnny Cash, you can see all of the backing vocals around one microphone. And that's because that was an omnidirectional microphone, and those backing singers were singing into that microphone, and they were spaced in the way that all of them would be heard equally around that mic. Now, this is what we call a cardioid microphone. Now, a cardioid microphone is going to be right here in the center, and we would still be talking into this side of the microphone. Now, what we can notice here is that we can hear very well if we're talking this way into the microphone. It's 0 dB. And as we start getting closer to 90 degrees, we're starting to fall into this -5, -6 dB area of, if we are talking into the side of the microphone, it is going to be 6 dB less than if we were talking in the front. And if we continue to go all the way around to 180, we can notice that this is all the way at the center. Now, theoretically, this would be a null, is what it's called, is a null of a microphone, is where the theoretical area of this microphone, or the pickup pattern, is at 0. And so that is because there is a lot of rejection that's happening on the back side of this microphone. And I will show you guys this here in a little bit in the video. I have a tone generator that I can place around the microphone, and I'll move that so you can actually hear the difference in this pickup pattern in comparison to an omnidirectional microphone. Now, most of the microphones that we would be using these days in audio is going to be a directional microphone of some sort. So chances are, if you have a SM57 or an SM58 from Shure, other dynamic microphones that are handheld for vocals, or most instrument microphones, a lot of those are going to fall in this cardioid pickup pattern. Now, moving on here, this is a hypercardioid pattern, meaning that we have our microphone still right here, and if you talk in the front right here, it's at 0 dB, and as we move over to the 90 degree, we'll notice that there's a little bit more rejection that happens in comparison to the cardioid that was here at the 5 to 6 dB down. This is more in the -12 dB down right here. And so that is if we were talking in the front of the microphone right here versus here, we would be -12 dB if we were talking in the side versus 0 up here at the top. You'll notice that there's actually 2 nulls. There's one right here and one over here. Now, this is the way this pattern is. This is a hypercardioid. Supercardioid is going to be very similar to this as well. Now you will notice that there is a little bit of a pickup pattern that's happening on the back side of the microphone. So if you are using this microphone, it's best to place anything that you're not wanting to have in this microphone in the area of the nulls. So right here and right here. So if this microphone is being used for a vocalist, you would want to make sure that your monitor is sitting right here in the pickup pattern. As if they were using this mic, you'd want to make sure that you would have the most feedback rejection that you can, meaning that if you can place your floor monitor right in this area, you will have the least amount of feedback. Now, in comparison to the cardioid mic that's back here, we would want to have the monitor at 180 degrees directly behind the microphone. There's still some rejection that's happening if we place it right here, but not as much as the hypercardioid. And then the very last pattern that I'm going to show you guys today is the figure 8 microphone. Now, there are some condenser microphones that are figure 8s, and the cool thing about this is that there is an equal amount of pickup here at 0 degrees and here at 180 degrees. So you can actually sing on both sides of this microphone and have equal sounds on the front and the back. Now, you'll also notice that the rejections are at 90 and 270 degrees. So this is going to be the pickup pattern of a figure 8 mic. Now, again, this microphone is pointing this direction at 0, but because of this pickup pattern, it doesn't matter if we're talking on the front or the back. So right now, I want to show you the differences between an omnidirectional microphone and a cardioid microphone. So I have this Sennheiser E614, and then I have this RTA mic here. And this is a omnidirectional microphone, and this is a cardioid microphone. And so I also have a sound bullet here. And so I'm going to use this as a tone generator. So I'm going to turn this on, and we are going to do that. So you can hear that in the background right now. So when we have this microphone, I can talk into this microphone right here. Check, 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 1, 2. And I can notice that there is this tone in this room, but I currently have it at the 180 degree mark on this microphone. So as I start bringing this around, I'm not changing the voice in comparison to it, but I'm bringing this around, and all of a sudden we can hear this pretty consistently. And so I'm going to now just take this tone generator and I'm going to go ahead and move it. Same distance, but now it's on the back. So we can see that there's not much that we can hear, but if I bring this around to the front, we'll start hearing it again. Now, likewise, we have our omnidirectional microphone. And so this omnidirectional microphone is going to pick up everywhere. Doesn't matter where I place this, it's going to be picking it up equally amount. So I'm going to go ahead and have this right here. And as I bring it around, the volume doesn't change. Now, as it falls with directional and omnidirectional microphones, you can choose the microphone that you want to use for your source. For instance, I would personally choose a hypercardioid microphone or a supercardioid microphone for snare, because the tom and the hi-hat are right next to the snare drum. But if you place that snare drum microphone with a hypercardioid in the right spot, you can actually get the tom and the hi-hat in the nulls of that microphone. And so my personal favorite microphone to use on a snare drum is the Shure Beta 57A, as it is a hypercardioid mic, so we can get those nulls in the spots where the hi-hat and the tom are, to just get a little bit of rejection and get a little bit more isolation on just the snare drum. Now, I also use cardioid in almost all of the rest of the drums, but there are some instances that if you are doing a recording that you would want to use the omnidirectional. But most chances are that if you're in a live sound setting, you would be choosing a directional microphone, like a cardioid or a hypercardioid or a supercardioid microphone, as you wouldn't want to have the feedback that you can get with an omnidirectional microphone being live on a stage. Now, with that being said, this headset microphone is an omnidirectional microphone. So we can hear the AC unit that is behind the camera just slightly, but we can also hear my voice. And if I was to have this tone generator on the back side of my head and I would rotate it around, you could hear it the same amount no matter where that direction is. Now, the benefit of an omnidirectional microphone is you can get that placement pretty close, and the tone will sound the same. Whereas if on a headset microphone, if you had a directional microphone, the placement of that microphone is going to be just a little bit more difficult. And I'll explain why here in the next section.